Hello everybody and welcome back to our Japan travel series episode 4. In today's video, we are spending the last few days in Japan and taking you to really extraordinary places. We are starting off in Nara. Then heading to the beautiful city of Kyoto, where of course we will not miss the famous Gion Street. And finally, we are taking you to a really unique spot near Kyoto, a mysterious bamboo forest and temple with over 8,000 gravestones. So, stick around till the end. We are going to see the authentic, true side of Japan that can cure your travel bug. But before we dive in, do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Alright, let's go. Our first destination is the very popular Nara. To reach Nara from Osaka, we started early, like for every place we visit in Japan. In Osaka, we were staying at the Nishinari Ward district, which is a suburban area very near the tourist places of Osaka. From here, we walked to the nearest train station after checking the Japan Transit app. And there, we got on a really cute train to reach the main Osaka Namba station. Now, I am a sucker for all things cute, and in Japan, we found so many of them. The trains, rooms, houses, the alleys, and so much more. They're cozy, compact, and spick and span. Well, from Osaka Namba station, we took the rapid express train on the Kintetsu Nara line. We reached Nara in 40 minutes. We paid 1200 yen per person, that's just about 8 USD. After reaching Nara station, we saw that there were coin lockers, which most stations, especially in tourist places, have. We took the second exit for the Nara Park and continued walking. Now, little did we know that as we enter Nara, we are going to witness the epitome of cuteness. After walking for about 15 minutes, we reached the Nara Deer Park and saw the lovely deers. You can buy cracker packets from the street for 200 yen and feed it to the deer. Well, we greeted the deer, fed it the crackers, and it greeted us back by bowing its head. This iconic deer bow and the fact that respect is so deeply ingrained in Japan as a culture for all living beings was so amazing and interesting to see. This interaction with the Nara deer is a very unique thing and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So despite the crowd and the hype, it is really worth trying once. Nara is not just about feeding the deer, but it's a great place to explore on foot. After meeting the deer, we kept walking and reached a quiet, empty forest area where there are still old traditional houses. Some of these houses also served food and were turned into ryokans, that are traditional inns where people can stay. We were very interested in the architecture of these houses. The Japanese construction methods often involved use of organic material, with wooden structures, thatched or tiled roofs, and sometimes with elevated eaves. Now, most of the old traditional Japanese houses were influenced from the Chinese Tang Dynasty architecture, with slanted roof, large timber structure, and integration with nature. So when we talk about the deers here, they were not brought in from someplace else for show or entertainment. deers are native to Nara and they live here. Even when we walked around the empty forest areas, there were many deers roaming freely away from the touristy park near local houses. It was super exciting to be in the vicinity of these animals. So, when we were planning our trip to Nara, we had the deers on our mind, of course. But we were not aware that there's so much more to Nara. There's a whole different world over here, which is not shown online anywhere. So, when we went there, we explored on foot and we found out that you can actually spend an entire day in Nara doing nothing but just absorbing the old, ancient, traditional Japanese vibe here. We ended our trip with a big bowl of delicious veggie ramen from Kamakura restaurant. There was an entire street dedicated to shops and eateries just next to the Nara railway station. In the description below, you will find a link to a complete video on the day trip to Nara. We took the Rapid Express train back and reached a hotel in Osaka. We were extremely tired that day and we took a sandwich from 7-Eleven and called it a night. The next day, we woke up bright and early to head to the cultural hub of Japan, Kyoto. We had to take the Haruka Limited Express from Osaka to Kyoto at about 9 a.m. We reached Kyoto from Osaka in about an hour. So the check-in time of our stay was post 3 p.m. So we decided to check out the most happening part of Kyoto, which is the Gion district, in the morning itself. So instead of getting off at the Kyoto main station, we got off at the Gion station, which is just 2.8 kilometers away from it. Once we got down, we found the coin lockers and kept our luggage for the day. This is when we realized how handy these coin lockers are. Our complete video on Gion district, Kyoto will give you details like cost for the coin lockers and other things to do. So don't forget to check it out in the description below. Once we were out in Gion district, we immediately understood what Kyoto is about. We could see the traditional cultural essence and the vibrant chaos blended together beautifully. Without a plan, we decided to turn into a narrow alley and ended up in some of the most beautiful Japanese alleyways with ryokans, traditional eateries, and a river flowing. It even started raining, making the entire place magical. So once we got out of the alleys, we found ourselves walking around Gion district and then we hit the Nishiki market. This market was just insane. It was so varied with a plethora of choices and it was quite reasonable. The local food scene in Nishiki Market was incredible too. From skewers to fruits and candies, there was just so much happening everywhere. We couldn't get over the visual brilliance of Nishiki Market. After spending a good amount of time here, we realized our feet were really hurting. We walked so much, and that's when we decided to take a break and get something to eat. We then visited the Yasaka Shrine, which is a Shinto shrine. It's got free entry, and we just walked in, exploring the beautiful architecture and the peaceful atmosphere. So you must know that all this is within walking distance of each other. The alleys, the market, the shrine, they're all close by. But you should be prepared to walk a lot. So at the end of the day, we realized that we had hit more than 20,000 steps. So if you're coming to Gion district, be prepared to walk a lot. Our next stop was something that I was waiting to see for a long time, the Gion Street or the Geisha Street. This destination is renowned for its traditional wooden houses and historic tea houses, which are converted to ryokans or charming inns meant specifically for people to visit. With the yellow lights on, the entire street looked like something out of a fairy tale. This street should be enjoyed when it's not bustling, because it can get extremely crowded. We visited the street at night and did find some crowd, but it was totally worth the hype. After a long and fruitful day, we checked into our stay late at night. Our stay was a hostel called Kyoto Guest House Hive. It was a fabulous hostel, and we paid 8,300 yen or 54 USD for a private room per night. So from Kyoto, we did another day trip to an extraordinary place. So online, we had found that Arashiyama Bamboo Forest is one of the most popular forests to visit in Japan. But we also saw online that it was extremely crowded. So after some research, we found another destination which is a good alternative to Arashiyama Bamboo Forest minus the heavy crowds. This place is called as Adashino Nenbutsuji Temple and Bamboo Forest. To reach here itself was an adventure. We plainly followed the Japan Transit app and at times even asked people along the way how to reach our destination. In the morning, we walked to Marutamachi station, which was 10 minutes away from our hostel. We took the city bus number 28 from there and went to Arashiyama Tenryuji Mei bus stop. Arashiyama station is huge and bustling. To go to Adashino, we had to get another bus from there. To know about the complete cost of transport and this day trip, watch our video on Adashino Nenbutsuji Temple and Bamboo Forest in the description below. Our next bus was from Arashiyama station to this tiny stop called Torimoto. It took us 20 minutes to reach there. From there, we walked to a small village-like area which was very quaint and had rural Japan vibes. Once we explored the pretty alleys and streets, we found a staircase that took us to Adashino Temple. Here, we were baffled to see 8,000 stone heads or tombs of souls who have departed without a family. There is also a 13-tier pagoda right in the center of these graves. There lies the Buddhist temple that is associated with these stone heads. So just next to the temple was the Adashino Bamboo Forest. This bamboo forest did not have much crowd, and that made it a wonderful place to just soak in the natural beauty of the area. We climbed up the stairs and took pictures amongst this dense, thick forest. Once the temple and bamboo forest visit was done, we walked around the tiny village taking pictures and even shopping in their souvenir shop. So for us, the trip to Nara or Kyoto was not about going to specific touristy places or checking things off a list. We specifically planned to not plan anything and just go with the flow. And this actually made us find very unique and extraordinary places and also get a true sense of rural or ancient Japan that a lot of people come to see. We ended our day trip with a nice riverside restaurant that had great food. So from Kyoto, we headed back to Tokyo to fly back to India. We wanted to experience the Shinkansen bullet train, and so we took this famous train. It took us 2 hours to reach Tokyo, and it cost between 14 to 16,000 yen, that's 90 to 100 USD. Oh, and on the way, we got a tiny glimpse of Mount Fuji. If you are traveling from Kyoto to Tokyo, sit on the left side. And if you're lucky enough and the weather is good, you will get a good view of Mount Fuji. 10 days in Japan was definitely not enough for us. From Tokyo to North Japan to Osaka and Kyoto, we could have definitely spent a lot more time in Japan. What truly stayed with us was how kind, respectful, and disciplined everyone was. Japan is a country so rich in culture, yet it's filled with creativity and fun. Japan changed us for the better. It reminded us to be grateful, to slow down, and to follow the little rules that make life smoother even in chaos. Japan will be back for sure. And until then, keep following us for lots more stories and local travel content.